I can't feel anything. I'm feeling thin air. Well, I'm feeling air. Sort of like our feelings, right? What are we feeling? We're feeling the feelings. Okay, okay. This is a video about untouchable feelings and how even if we could touch our feelings, even if they were tangible, the value, the feelings we have, the value, the sensation, the value number that we're giving, the tangible. I can feel something. Okay, I can feel a pencil. It's causing a feeling. It's causing a sensation not only physically but psychologically. It's causing a force feedback mechanism, right? So I'm feeling something, but it's obviously this has an association with feeling. So you can say, oh, I'm kind of feeling my sensation. I'm feeling it in my head, but I'm also kind of in the value in my head. I can feel the value. It's intangible, but it's a function that's serving through a physical mechanism. So like I'm feeling the pencil, you can say I'm feeling the feeling because the pencil is causing the feeling, but not necessarily because our feeling is kind of independent, but it relies on outside function or physicality for us to feel. But even if you could put your fingers on the feeling, you can put your finger on the brain and where the feeling's coming from, you can kind of see, obviously we can't, you can just saying like almost putting this, not to draw a comparison, I'm not saying the pencil is necessarily the feeling, even though that's what I was using as an example, I'm just saying even if you could feel the feeling that you had, if you could feel it other than psychologically, if you can feel it physically, what would it look like, what would it feel like, and would it make any difference? I don't think it would make much of a difference because you're still feeling it. But I think it would still have more, say, it may have a different perceptual psychological effect than, say, just feeling a pencil, but that's the only way it works. But this is just hypothetically. You can't feel a feeling other than your head. And even if you could, it wouldn't mean much. It's an untouchable feeling. And that's exactly what we're doing. And that's part of the frivolous futility. That's part of the, I feel good, but I kind of feel nothing. The good makes me feel kind of bad because I realize just how much the good isn't making me feel, or much, I'm recognizing just how good the good feelings don't mean much of anything because the good feelings are just escaping the negative. And that's the only real way that the good actually exists, is escaping these negative sensations. And that's how, generally speaking, these good feelings are existing. Um, so yeah, I'm feeling good, but it's only because I'm having a psychological reaction. Um, and it's just a feeling. It's just a feeling I'm having physically, but I can still recognize, even though my feeling is good, like I mentioned before, understanding your feeling, your perception, I can still understand that life sucks. I can still understanding where exactly my feeling's coming from. I can connect the dots. And when you connect the dots, it's almost like you're living every step of your feeling. And the feeling is there's no logical mystery to your feeling. You realize exactly where the feeling is coming from. Even though if you can't necessarily describe it, it exists as a function and it exists as something. It doesn't matter your description, it exists regardless of your description or the feeling or what causes it. It's a feeling and it's caused by something, but it's the feeling in and of itself is the thing that you're trying to grasp, I guess suppose you can say. Sort of like my pencil is the thing that caused the feeling. It's not the feeling, it's the thing causing the feeling. Sort of like the pencil right here is the thing causing the feeling. I'm having a feeling right now, but it's not doing anything to the, it's creating a feeling, a sensation that creates a different perception or whatever it may be. You see here you won the lottery, it creates a feeling. But you can perceive, still understand that what I'm doing is wrong. I'm taking money and I'm extorting people almost in a way by saying, I'm going to take all your money. I'm just going to take all your money, steal your money, and realize I'm thieving off these people. I'm taking money that can be gone to someone else, or I can use the, obviously, you could say, understand, even though I can use this money for good, I'd obviously participated in something that was kind of pointless and useless and was kind of a theft. Almost inadvertently extorting money out of people, almost forcing them based on their circumstance and the choices they make and the manipulation you do to get someone to win the lottery. And the lottery goes to one person. Even though it's only $5 out of each person's pocket or whatever it is, a lottery ticket, it's still money that you're stealing from other people that, put into the game. But then again, I guess they agree to it, right? To a certain extent. They didn't agree to existing, but they agreed to existing a certain way once they existed. Unfortunately, that's the way it works. Unfortunately, how else can I say it? So yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and it reaches a dead end, I guess, and that's, I mean, you're reaching a feeling and you're feeling a certain way. You have a perception, You realize life's, I mean, the feeling doesn't mean too much once your perception doesn't go along with the feeling. If you feel good and you're still kind of feeling weird and bad, and there's some dissonance, you're obviously not doing what the feeling is intended. You're feeling good, you're not feeling like crap, but you're avoiding feeling like crap, but you're not falling in line. And you know, once you realize this, you reach a dead end and recognizing exactly where you're going, and you're going towards the wall, like I mentioned, the brick wall where you're just seeing the projection. And this projection leads nowhere. It's just a dead end. You knock on the wall, you realize you're not doing anything, you can't do anything beyond it. You're gonna force to daydream. But you could still daydream and recognize that there's nothing beyond it. It's a dead end. There's a dead end. There's a feeling, you feel something, and that's it. I feel good. Okay, I feel good, and that's really all it is. When you feel, it's an untouchable thing, but it's applying touch to it's almost pointless because it doesn't really exist. I feel good or I feel bad. I feel less good or I feel less bad. And euphoric or feeling buzzed or feeling high is just feeling better than you were before. It's just feeling more of the good that you were lacking before. You're feeling less bad. It's the natural progression. And that's all you're doing is you're naturally progressing the more you get. And there's no tangibleness to it. Something can cause it, but it doesn't matter what causes the feeling. And it's a cause, it's not the feeling. And the feeling is either more or less, and it's just a reaction. And you're not doing anything but reacting a certain way. That's all the feeling is reaction. And the reaction is empty when you have nothing to touch. There's no feeling, there's only something that causes it. And it's an illusion to feel like there's something that should be there to cause a feeling, but it's almost like I mentioned before, it's just like it's a conundrum, or it's a silly, pointless, frivolous thing to think about. You know, feel like you can touch the feeling. I can touch something more than just this pencil when I'm feeling a feeling. I can do more than just write when I'm writing. When I'm writing a gateway to the next existence or something. But then you realize you're just going to be you're buying into the addiction. You know, you want the gateway to the next existence, the next dimension, but you're just realizing, okay, I want the next dimension. I want the next dimension. Okay, it's the want okay, the thing I need to tackle is not the next dimension. It's the want. I want the next dimension. How about I say, let's erase the want. I can do this. I can't create the next dimension because that doesn't exist. What I can do is I can say, okay, I want the next dimension. What I can do is what I can take away, or I need, or I want. Instead of saying the next dimension, how about this? I can't. Okay, so you say you have those things written down. I can't take away, or I can't make exist the next dimension. What I can do is I can erase the I want or I need. And that's all you can do. The next dimension, death, you take away the I want, I need. No longer creating need machines. And that's the thing you can't erase. That's the thing you have control over to a certain extent. You can't control over the next dimension. You can only think within the boundaries of existence. You can only think so much about time travel before you've reached a dead end. You can perceive it slightly differently, but it's not going to do anything. You're still thinking thoughts that anyone else can think inside this reality. You can't think outside of it. You can only erase the next dimension, and you can circle the I want, I need, and you can say, I can take care of this thing. That's all you can do. So like staring in the camera. It's not really staring at you. I'm staring at the camera. I mean, it's kind of a dead end, right? I can imagine, but it doesn't matter what I'm imagining. I'm still staring at a camera, physically speaking. I can imagine I'm staring at an audience, but I'm still staring at a camera. It doesn't change that fact. So it's that way regardless. So, yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, there's nothing much to this game. Our feelings are untouchable, but even if we could touch them, they would serve no function. It'd still be just touching something. It's the feeling we need to tackle, not the intangibleness. It's not the next dimension, touching a feeling. It's not making these pointless distinctions. It's about understanding what we can do. Like taking away pain, we can take away the want. And that's all we can do. And that's the only perception there is to have, is taking away the want that we have. And that's all there is there. It's to take away the want or to create the want. And everything else doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter what creates or what it is or a delusion or whatever it's creating it. It's that there's a want and there's not want. There's a need or not need. There's something that has sensation and doesn't have sensation and has to have other things that have sensation more or less positive or negative. There's nothing more. And we have to tackle the I want and I need. And that goes back to the idea, who cares what's happening on the other side of the universe? Who cares what's other dimension and tackling all these questions? It's about the need machine. It's about tackling the want and the need, the thing at its very core of its function, not changing the subject. We need to tackle the thing that matters. The evolution, we know where we came from. We don't know where the universe came from, if it's infinitely doing this or that. Even if we did find out, it doesn't change the fact that we are what we are, and there's nothing you could do about it. Even if we knew where it came from what? To do what? Okay, we exist to do what? We know that we're part of a function that can't exist any other way, based on deprivation, based on the way reality works. Knowing where it came from wouldn't do anything. We want to know how we can change it, and that's what we're really looking for when we think that way. We're confusing them. We want to know how we can make our existence more, beyond our understanding, magical. The bubble isn't, farts in in your bathtub that float out to the top. It's not a bubble. It's not just air inside of an encasement of liquid. No, it's magical. There's a different world on the other side. There's a different world on the inside. There's a world, but it's something I can't perceive. It's not that I can't perceive it, by seeing it. I can't understand it. It's beyond my understanding. And then what's the point in understanding it if you can't understand it? What's the point in sitting there and thinking about how there's a mystery? If you can't understand it, you're just going to be stuck then, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. What's the point in sitting there and saying I can't understand it? I mean, it's pointless. It's to understand it, but then once you understand it, there's nothing to understand. And you're on to chasing something else. It's about the chase. It's about eliminating the chase. Not about anything else. It's the value that we portray by wanting the chase game to continue. The chase is the thing that we're basing our value off of. That's the thing that has the value, is the thing that's chasing. And it's about, circling the chase and circling the thing that has value, the thing that has sensation. And that's the only thing we can change and can affect, is the chase game that we're a part of. So it doesn't matter, the feelings, all that stuff is kind of frivolous and silly. We don't need to talk about that. It's the chase game. We need to look at ourselves. It doesn't, evolution, like I mentioned, doesn't matter where the universe came from. It came from there, but it doesn't change the fact we are what we are. Us knowing it's not going to change the fact we are what we are, because we haven't changed it. There's nothing else to do. We understand that to that extent now. We can't do anything more. It doesn't matter if we know where it came from. We know where it came from now, and so we can what? Want to know where it came from before where it came from? We're just going to keep wanting at that point. And the only thing we can do is cross out the want or need and the sensation and say we no longer need to base the want and need and the sensation on the things that we're searching for. We need to eliminate this and erase them and say, okay, we're going to leave a blank space. And the only blank space we need to have is the blank space where we have the want and need and the sensation and the sentient sensation, sentient being, feeling. Because those things only matter because you're existing. And whatever's happening out there is beyond our control to a certain extent. There's only so much we can do. We can't change the fundamental aspects of nature. We can't change how the universe is going to function. We're in the universe. I wish we could nuke it. But then again, I don't think that'd have much of an effect anyway. So yes, we're inside space. We're moving around. We're just going to erase those create the blank spots, and it's the want and need. And those are the important ones. Those are the ones that obviously are important enough that we erase them when we need to fill in the blanks. Those are the crucial words. And those are the words we need to fill in. And we need to realize, fill them in, circle them, and say, that's the thing we need to figure out. Not any of this other stuff. Because the only thing that makes us want it is the want and need we're filling in. Or the sensation that we're filling in. We understand the sensation, we understand the want and need, and we understand where it's coming from. We may not know where it's coming from, but we understand those functions. So regardless of that, that's really, feelings are untouchable. They don't mean anything. If we could touch them, it wouldn't mean anything. Well, we can't touch them, but even if we could, it doesn't mean anything. They're untouchable, but it doesn't mean anything. We only have representations of feeling. I feel good because I have this pen holding in my hand. My description doesn't mean nothing much, though. It's a representation of what I feel. It's not the exact feeling happening in my head. This is a feeling. I can feel it, sort of like the bumping in your head kind of thing, right? I'm feeling something, but it's not the feeling happening inside my head. I can feel something on my hand. I can hit my hand with a pen or whatever over here. I can do that stuff, but it's not the feeling psychologically. It's not the feeling. It's the thing causing the feeling. I'm not, the pen's causing the pain, but it's causing the pain, but it's not the one having the pain. It's not the one having the feeling. It's not the feeling itself. It's the one causing the feeling. It's almost a disconnection, almost like putting a square peg into a round hole. It's like a disconnection where anything can cause a feeling. It doesn't matter what causes the feeling. It's a blank spot. It's the feeling that means something. Whatever causes the feeling, you can erase that, but you can also say, we need to fill in this area with the I, want, need, or sensation. When erase whatever causes the feeling, because it doesn't mean anything. You can fit anything to that. It doesn't mean anything, what causes the feeling. But it can cause a certain feeling, but it doesn't matter. It's about more or less feeling in the end. And more or less pain or more or less sensation, this feeling, that feeling, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of the feeling. And that's the thing we need to tackle. Not what the feeling is. That's frivolous nonsense. We can erase that and say, fill in this blank, not this blank. This we just need to erase. It's pointless, but we can mention it just to give the example. So yeah, that's all I want to mention, I guess. Went on way too long again. So yeah, my notes and my pencil. Yes, so untouchable feeling, dead end. So it reaches a dead end, obviously, like I mentioned before. You can only, once you face the dead end, once you face the abyss, you can't turn around. It's only, let's stay here as much as I can. But obviously, you're not solving the mystery you want to solve. You might as well just head into the deep end, right? Head into the deep end and reach the end, the abyss, the vortex, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, wow, I horribly failed in this video to make sure it was under 10 minutes. Oh. That's too bad, I guess. These subjects are kind of important anyway. It doesn't matter if I waste a little more of my time. I just had way too many subjects covering this tonight, but whatever. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, untouchable feelings, it wouldn't matter anyway. It's just representation. I've already mentioned the blank space thing. So yes, thank you. If I have anything else to say on this subject, I can always mention it again. I apologize. I'm making an F, but at least F for effort as opposed to an A for effort, right? An F for effort, at least I'm, pointing out the important things. So thank you, and until next time. Under 17